All right, let's just jump right in. You know how it is. You're having a perfectly good day, and then bam, one rude comment, one aggressive driver, and suddenly your whole mood is just shot. It's like your own emotions get hijacked by someone else, right? Well, today, we're going to talk about how to take back the controls.
And this is not a new idea. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus laid this out almost 2,000 years ago. Just think about that for a second. It's such a powerful and kind of uncomfortable truth. When we let someone else's actions dictate how we feel, we are literally handing them the keys to our own head.
And this isn't some abstract philosophical debate. This is an everyday thing. Road rage is the perfect example. Someone cuts you off, you get furious, your heart is pounding for the next 10 minutes. But here's the thing. That other driver, they're long gone. They've already forgotten about you, but they're still living rent-free in your head. So who's really the master in that situation?
So if we want to break that cycle, we need a better framework for understanding what control even is. And this brings us right to the core of Stoicism, which honestly offers a brilliant model for finding emotional freedom.
So check this out. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, and it's so simple it's genius. They basically said, look, split the world into two buckets. In one bucket, you put everything you can't control. Traffic, what other people think, how they act, you have zero power there. None. In the other bucket, you put what you can control, your responses, your mindset, your choices. That, they said, is your kingdom, and you're the only one who gets to rule it.
And again, this isn't some new age self-help fad. We're talking about the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius here, one of the most powerful men in the world, ever. He wrote all about this in his personal journal, which we now know as Meditations. He was constantly reminding himself to only focus on what he could control, his own character and his own reactions.
Okay, but let's be real. Is it always that easy? I mean, can you really just choose your response when you're in the heat of the moment? It's definitely easier said than done. And what happens when that choice feels impossible, when the whole system just breaks down? To really understand the stakes, we need to take a look at what happens when this failure to control our impulses becomes a full-blown clinical issue.
This is where we get into something called intermittent explosive disorder, or IED. Now, this is not just having a bad temper. This is a recognized mental health condition where the outbursts are completely, wildly out of proportion to whatever triggered them. We're talking screaming rage over spilled coffee.
And before you think, oh, well, that must be super rare, check out this number. 2.7% of adults in the US. Might not sound like a lot, but that works out to millions of people. So this is not some fringe issue. It's a major challenge that shows just how hard mastering our impulses can actually be.
And the signs are pretty distinct. It's not just the big reaction. There's often this building tension beforehand, this irritability. And then, this is the really crucial part, intense shame and guilt afterward. This isn't someone who's enjoying their anger. It's a really painful repeating cycle.
Okay, so we've seen the philosophical ideal on one side and the clinical extreme on the other. So now let's get practical. How do we actually build the skills to stay in control, especially when we have to deal with difficult people? Let's open up the strategic toolkit. A fantastic set of tools comes from a field called dialectical behavioral therapy, or DBT. It was specifically designed to help people manage really overwhelming emotions and improve their relationships through something called interpersonal effectiveness.
Now, one of the cornerstones of DBT is this awesome acronym, Dear Man. It's basically a script you can use for any difficult conversation. Let's walk through it. D is for describe. Just state the facts, no judgment. I noticed you raised your voice. E is for express. Use I statements. I feel disrespected when that happens. A is for assert. State clearly what you need. I need us to speak calmly. R is for reinforce. Show them the positive outcome. That way I can actually hear what you're saying. Then the man part. Stay mindful and on topic. Appear confident and be willing to negotiate. It's an incredibly powerful tool for staying in control.
But Dear Man is for a planned conversation. What about when you're already in the thick of it? The argument's already heated. You need a tactic for right now.
This simple phrase, it's like a conversational fire extinguisher. Instead of meeting aggression with more aggression, you invite them to collaborate. It completely shifts the dynamic from a battle to a puzzle that you need to solve together. You're not surrendering. You're just changing the rules of the game.
But here's the warning label. This is a tool, not a magic spell. Your delivery is everything. If you say it with sarcasm and an eye roll, you're just throwing gasoline on the fire.
But if you deliver it with genuine curiosity, with a calm and open posture, you signal respect. You signal that you want to resolve the issue, not just win the fight.
So, Dear Man and de-escalation, those are great for people you want to build a better relationship with. But sometimes the goal isn't to engage better. Sometimes the goal is to stop engaging altogether. And this is where something called the gray rock method comes in. It's a strategy for dealing with toxic or manipulative people you can't just completely avoid. The whole goal is to make yourself as boring and unresponsive as, well, a plain gray rock. So how do you do it? Short, factual answers, no emotional details. You avoid a lot of eye contact. You're basically denying them the drama and the emotional reaction that they feed on. You become a really boring, unsatisfying target. And this isn't just some random idea. It's rooted in a real psychological principle called extinction. The theory is pretty simple. If a behavior, like someone trying to provoke you, is never rewarded with the response they want, they'll eventually just stop. They'll move on because it just doesn't work on you anymore.
So how do you know which strategy to choose? Well, it's pretty simple. Use Dear Man when the goal is to collaborate and preserve a relationship you actually care about. Use the gray rock method when your goal is just self-protection, when you're strategically disengaging from someone you can't fix things with. It's about having the right tool for the right job.
And this brings us right back to where we started. Whether you're using advanced communication skills or just strategically disengaging, the objective is always the same. It's not about changing them, it's about mastering you. The real power isn't in winning the argument, it's in choosing not to be a slave to it. So I'll leave you with the same question that Epictetus posed thousands of years ago, just reframed for today. As you go about your week, dealing with coworkers, family, strangers on the internet, ask yourself this: who or what are you going to allow to be your master? The choice, as we've seen, is entirely yours.